who my client is. So there are three types of clients, I believe. One is they trust you completely and they give you a free hand. This is the smallest group of people, but they exist. Is that a woman is an interior decorator, not a designer. Design is not only how it looks or feels, design is how it works. It has to work. Anything can look beautiful, but if it is beautiful and it works, that's the best thing. So I like to follow the light, like literally follow the light.
आज है हमारे साथ एक brilliant architect behind the famous firm Vikrama Architects, which has not only designed stunning buildings but also has executed their projects in Vadodara, Mumbai, Ahmedabad और इनके outstanding designs आपको गोवा, न्यू दिल्ली, ओमान में भी देखने को मिलेंगे. Starting her journey in architecture after finishing college in 2002, Ms. Rashika learned from great gurus like Mr. Vijay Matai and Mr. Karan Grover before starting Vikrama in 2010. ये studio innovative designs and top-notch quality के लिए बहुत famous है and they have finished over 200 projects. And with a team of 6 talented architects, Vikrama focuses on design, consulting and planning. Also, Rashika is one of those very few architects who give credits to their entire internal team in every single project publicly. So let's enjoy today's discussion.
So the number one question is, how would you describe your personal design style and how does it influence your work?
So my personal design style is all about clean lines, functional spaces, and also integrating some of the outside elements of nature with the inside. So that's my primary thought process. And I like to lay the most emphasis on natural light. So I like to follow the light, like literally follow the light. You'll see my work, like I feel it enhances the user's experience. I feel it creates a very positive vibe. And it also brings a lot of originality to any space, because light doesn't come in the same shape and form anywhere. It's going to be different every day depending on the sun, depending on the weather, and you can change it also with how you can use skylights, curtains, windows, etc. So that's what I like to do. So as an architect, light, I always feel it comes in streaks. Like when you're talking about a blind, it comes in streaks. It comes in patches like works of art. Sometimes it's mysterious. There's some kind of a feel to the place which cannot be achieved by these lights that we use. I feel it's like the warm glow inside of your heart when you're sitting in your favorite corner in your home. So that's what I like to do. I like to follow the light. And when we as architects use good light and omit out the bad light, we can create more environmentally conscious spaces. Because the moment you remove the bad heat and the light, you're automatically having to cool less. So you're in turn being more energy conscious. That's what I feel. My personal design style, I feel, is very practical. A lot of people think that whenever somebody gives me a thing to do, my question is that, okay, how will we do it? What is it going to cost? What is the thickness? Will it fit? So I'm very practical also. And I think Steve Jobs said this once, that design is not only how it looks or feels, design is how it works. It has to work. Anything can look beautiful, but if it is beautiful and it works, that's the best thing. That's my design. Yeah.
Okay, great. My next question would be,
How do you balance your design vision with the preferences and needs of your clients?
So I think this balance is all about communication and collaboration. What I like to do is, first of all, understand who my client is and what is his nature or her nature. What are they as people? And I also try to understand what are they going to do with the space. So I try to live a day in the life of my client. So when I'm looking at a person who's going to he's going to work early in the morning and she's going to work early in the morning, things like that. So we live life in the day of the client, so we can understand that this is what they'll want.
the nature of work
Then
also
we try
is
to-
considered.
Sorry?
The nature of work also is considered in your thought
Nature
process.
of work and their own nature. Are they outgoing people? Do they like to entertain a lot? Are they people who like it very soft and subtle? Are they dynamic? What is the space going to speak their nature? There might be two people in the house, and you have to create a balance amongst them also. So I feel if they communicate their needs, what they want, their tastes, their lifestyles, and their budget, any picture they show, they it has to fit into that space, into that budget, both the things. So what I try to do is I try to communicate, and I have regular discussions. We try to show things together. I'll show you a plan. Most clients don't understand plans. I'll show them a plan, I'll show them a 3D, and I'll show them the actual stone. That is how it's going to look. This is the face you're going to see, and eventually this is what it's going to cost you. When we use drawings, most clients, we have to understand, they are not architects or designers like us. They cannot understand plans or drawings. So it's better we show them a plan, we show them a 3D, along with it we show them the actual material. This is what will come on this face. So we try to integrate whatever we can to show it to them together, and then call the contractor and tell them a rough costing of it. No square feet
Okay.
costing. Can I tell you something costs 65 rupees a square feet?
Yeah.
It's ambiguous. The guy says, kitna
How
hoga?
they crack it? Hmm.
Yeah. So I'm going to say this wall is going to cost you 1,75,000.
True.
That is when
Very
we
true.
get, no, we don't want it, or yes, we are okay with it. So we
Yeah.
don't keep going back to the drawing board.
Sure.
The
Yes.
second thing is, where key other than the communication, is flexibility. I feel it is very, very important. No two friends, no couple like a husband, wife, no mother, daughter. Nobody thinks alike. Everybody thinks the ideas are different, exposure is different. So if there is a contradiction, which there will be, you have to find a common ground. I'm not that kind of an architect who's going to say, no, this is the way it's going to be done. If I feel there are some things inherently not okay with the space flow, I'll tell them at the end of the day that this is what I suggest, this is what you want, and I rest the last decision on the client. Because it's, after all, it's their house.
Are there specific types of spaces or design challenges that you particularly enjoy tackling?
By the grace of God, and I'm very grateful for this, I love doing spaces, and I've had the experience of doing a lot of places on the river or on a waterfront. So there is a river around this city of Vadodara where I live. It's called the Mahi River, and I have done up-teen projects over there. So that's
Okay.
a lot of fun. I've also worked on a project in Oman, which is next to the ocean. It's a beachfront.
Okay. And these are mostly
And
residential?
yes, yes. Oman was not. It was an admin building. But
Okay.
these all are the ones I'm talking about local in Vadodara. They are all farmhouses and
Okay.
residences.
Sure. We happen to
So,
see some of them actually.
sorry?
We happen to see actually some of them, following your
Yeah,
work.
we put them up. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful because I've got this opportunity, and it's not very common to be able to get such a beautiful landscape to work with.
Hmm.
So it's adventurous, because there is
True.
flooding, there are stability issues, there is erosion issues, there is also issues like sometimes it's not a flood, it's because there's too much water and they release water from the dam. So just 18 hours before or 20 hours before, we are given a kind of an intimation that there's going to be a release of so many cusecs of water, and everybody's taking their, that is not a natural thing. We are always building above the highest flood levels. This is not a flood. Sometimes because of excess water, they release water. And when they release water, it comes into our houses. So we have to think of all those things. We have to think, we are doing a plantation here, it's going to go away. And we design for submerged levels. We have to be very conscious about the ecological impact, as in we don't ruin the flora and fauna around. So we've got a responsibility, because if you take too much from nature, she's going to rip you apart. And we've had situations where we've tried to reclaim a little more than we could, and it's just flown away into the river. Yes. So I think that challenge of working with the river, making gabion walls, wherein the wall acts like a sieve, the water goes, and there are times where everything is gone, but my structure is standing. Thanks to very, very good structural designers, We've done structures on piles and nothing has moved. So what you're losing is soil primarily, soil and landscape. So it's a lot of fun, adventurous. That is why I like working next to the riverfront.
That's very challenging. Very challenging.
Yes, it is. It is. It's
Okay.
fun to build there, but you have to be careful.
Yeah, yeah. All right. My next is
Are there any specific design elements that you believe can add a personal touch to any space?
Yeah. So can I come back to my favorite element of light?
sure. Yes, absolutely.
So um, I like to make statement light installations for people. A few years ago, if you've seen my page, we started. I have started a brand called Soul. It's pronounced as TSOL, but it's the T is silent. It's called Soul, and the full form is the shape of light. TSOL. So I feel that light is many things, and soul is a celebration of light. And statement light pieces made with wood, with wicker, with thread, with glass, with stainless steel, the kind of shapes that come out of that and how it looks like an installation, these are the things that we like to do for our clients. And the best part is it's an original. It cannot be repeated. The light quality will never be the same. And it creates an ambience and makes your space a very personalized. So as an architect, light and shadow have played a very important role
Mm.
in my life and in
Mhm.
my design philosophy. So designing and creating pieces customized for every space is what I love to do. Like an element which sets the house apart completely. I always end up people asking me that where did you get this from? We didn't get it
Mhm.
anywhere. We've made it, we've customized it just for you, you know. And the coming together of spaces and light to create an ambience and to create an ambience with a lot of soul in it. TSOL. So
Sure.
that's what we like to do.
So the next one is
What are some common challenges you face in the interior designing industry and how do you overcome those?
What I'm
architecture
facing
interior design
now
industry.
or before.
Mm. What you've been facing on an ongoing basis, from the time you started.
So I
Certain you
think when
might
I
have overcome already. Mm.
yeah, yeah. Initially, the thought process was always that a woman is an interior decorator, a decorator, not a designer. And also, I got a lot of interior projects only, not giving me the architectural work to actually build from ground zero. I have, of course, overcome that a long time ago. And people have started understanding that interiors is not only about which curtain or which cushion. They understand it's a science. It's how you make the layouts, how the light falls, which wires are connected, how the place cools, how it feels when you sit. So, what do you see? What is your view, and what is the impact that your building is creating environmentally? So, people have come a long way in accepting that this is almost like a science, and it's just not buying some cushions and rugs. Also, in
True.
terms of how we can communicate, it's become much easier with 3Ds, with combined with drawings, mood boards, and we have help with AI. There are certain softwares where I can create my own image by typing what I'm thinking. I don't know if you've heard of that. I
Yeah, I've
end
come
up
across some.
yeah, so I end up typing out. See, that's a completely original image. I'm saying that this is the color of the floor, this is what I'm looking at, this is what is behind me, the light is coming from here. As descriptive as you get, they generate an image for you. Now that's like reading my mind. And that image nobody else can have because I thought of it. It is not on any Pinterest or Behance or Instagram at all.
Wow.
So I think that technology is really helping us overcome things like copying a lot of designs because clients are telling us this is your reference, make it like this. It's very difficult for us to because if they end up liking a picture on Pinterest and Instagram, they want us to replicate it completely. Yeah, because they love it so much. So sometimes we give in also, but we try to avoid that. A reference is a reference. You should not make the same things, which is not in our control every time. So I think the even people have started appreciating very customized original ideas. So there's this whole phase of everything was Pinterest, Instagram, and a lot of imaging from Google and Behance and stuff. And then now they are all coming back to generate something. So that's a good thing for us. So those are where it's going good. Plus today I feel that there is a lot of emphasis on craftsmanship, on actual labor. India was never recognizing the handcrafted things before. It all came down to machine, and now it's come a full circle. We are going back. We want hand carved things, and we want to find the person who made this jhula about 100 years ago and with what mechanism they made it. So people are coming back to that, to the roots, which is a very, very good thing, I feel.
So who would you give credit for that? Do you think designers have been bringing that back in, or is it people who are looking out for such things?
I think a little bit of both. Work with machine becomes very fast and clients want it fast. Now people are patient. They give you time. They want you to take time in designing. So I try to be as fast as I can, but I can't be creative when I'm rushed. I need to take time to sit down to think. So when you have time, then you can generate masterpieces. And so people are now realizing that good things take time. So I think it's also the people who are letting you come back to the handcrafted things and slowing down a little bit. COVID is
Sure.
responsible
So
for that.
right. That brings me to another question. So, how long does it take for your team to sort of design before you fully get into execution? Or if somebody else were to do it, since you're not doing all of them by yourself,
So you need to give me a space size, like how big a space we can.
let's say a 1,500 square yards plot, because you're
Yeah.
doing bungalows and villas, right?
So about designing, I think in terms we did this. I'll give you my recent own project. We did a farmhouse for about 4,000 square feet, and we were done with the designing in about 4 months.
Okay, okay. So,
So
excluding the landscape, the
yeah,
very, uh, okay,
yeah. So with the
understood.
interior, so
With the
I'm
interiors.
not talking about 4 months at a go. We design for a couple of
Hmm.
months, then the construction begins, and side by side, parallelly, we are doing the
Okay.
interiors. But I would require
Oh,
three to
yeah.
3 to 4 months for like a. If you want to do it without stopping, there are projects where we've
Hmm.
started in
Yeah,
like
yeah,
10 days and 15 days. So you're telling me a utopian situation
yeah.
wherein I would
True.
get some time to design my things.
True, true. And also, I think all put together, even if you were to do in phases, all put together would be like say 4, 5 months
Yeah, correct,
across like 1 to 2 years, I would believe.
correct, correct.
Okay, okay,
And
sure, sure. I
what
think that
happens is
answers.
there is constant back and forth. It depends a
Mm,
lot on your client. So there are three types of clients, I believe. One is they trust you completely. This is the
mhm.
smallest group of people, but they exist. And then there is this group of people who know what they want. That's good too. The projects that take the longest are the ones where they don't know what they want and they don't trust you. Now it becomes a way of convincing, explaining every design, and it takes them longer to accept the design. So that's why the designing is longer because everything is follows, right? If I do the space, then I can do the false ceiling, then the electrical. I mean, so it's all in linear form. So if it gets stuck at one place, then everything gets delayed. So we
And
pride
also, it would
ourselves in being very fast. We pride that we
okay,
are
sure.
we're pretty.
The next one then would
How has the industry evolved during your career, and what changes do you anticipate in the future?
So, continuing with the similar question, it were like how people would come to me with say, "Give me some ideas." So you took only 10 minutes to make a sketch. Why are you asking for a fees? So,
mm,
uh, what? So initially, I've done a lot of free work. Every freelancer has to go through this. You have to
mhm.
learn to do that, and for friends, family, and that's how you start getting recognized. So that's like a right of way. You have to go through that path. So the now the industry is also involved. Nobody will expect any free things from you. They understand that we have studied something, most people do, and that we deserve some money for the time we are putting in, for the energy we are putting in. And so consulting has come a big way. Also, there's this whole new understanding that architects are not project managers. We are not able to decide when the stone will come. Someone has to, it's my job to select the stone as per your liking in your budget and make the drawing and see it's executed properly in terms of finishing. But when it will come, whether there'll be a crane required to lift it, what is the rental of the crane, there's this whole, there's, it's a job for someone else. So a lot of people are investing into good project managers who can do all this for them and pay them for it. So that is making work very fast and fun.
Mhm. It's always good to have a project manager who is there, stationed almost all the times, and the clients must understand that. And it definitely is not the architect's job.
Yeah, so at the center should be the project manager or the person who's
Mm.
executing. At the three corners are the client, the architect, and the execution person, the contractor. This guy is going to say, you haven't decided, you haven't given the drawing, you haven't got the material. It is not possible for, we do it. We try to help out clients, but it is very difficult to do it and be creative at the same time because I end up going to the site with a very fancy design and because I'm there trying to supervise the work, I'm told ये detail change कर दो ना बहुत मुश्किल है नहीं हो रहा है. It's my guy who's doing the work and I'm like okay it's getting delayed. Okay, do it, take the easier way. I don't want to do that. I just want to tell the project manager I just want it. It's possible, so just do it. That's how we get better work out of people. We push them to work harder because everyone's job is identified. So people have started recognizing and doing that, doing a lot of work before on paper. That's how the industry should change completely. Do not break ground till you have an entire booklet of where your pipe will end up. That's how I think the future is going to be. And of course, we're going to be wearing headsets and looking at our spaces completely.
Yeah, I think technology would play a big role, and all of what we can plan can be well captured, and then some of these visualization tools would really help us,
Of
is what
course.
I believe. Yeah, so next one is, I think, my favorite too.
For aspiring interior designers watching, what advice would you give them as they embark on their careers?
First of all, study very hard. Then understand that study is not going to help you at all in terms of executions. What is going to help you is on your first site, go and live at the site. See how they frame the ceiling, see how they cut the wood, see how they join it. Look at every wire, look at what are the problems the executionists are going through. Understand the space, understand how the light is coming in, how it changes at night, what is the temperature over there. So once you know how things are done, you can innovate. When you're sitting in the office and trying to innovate instead of a circle, make a square, it's fine. But when you're there and you know how it is working, how it is actually being executed, you'll save you'll save material, you'll give back to the roots. You will understand what the problem of the carpenter is, or the person, the civil guy, or why the structural guy is saying something. So, if you stay at the site, if you see how things are made, you can question their ways, you can give them better alternatives. That's what aspiring designers should do. They should figure out and they should be open to using traditional materials,
Hmm. Okay.
what is available to us, instead of just
Hmm.
going in for the new fancy things.
And probably burn their hands and learn from the mistakes that
Yes,
happen on a daily basis,
but
no
somebody
matter
will have to
what you
live
do,
with
no matter
those
how well
mistakes.
you plan.
But somebody will
Yeah,
have to live
yeah,
with
yeah.
those mistakes.
And bear the cost of those mistakes.
Yeah, true, true, true.
Right, right. Yeah, I think that answers. I am on to my next one now, which is the last one. Uh, what are some of your favorite design elements or materials to work with and why?
Natural, natural all the way because it's original. The grains on a piece of teak wood, the lines on a travertino stone, how the metallic chips in a kota, chiku gray kota, how they shine at night. Nobody can make that. We can't make it, and we can't repeat it. So I love natural things, exposed bricks, any kind of raw things. I really like to experiment with that because this is what is available. Now make the best of it. It's very easy to put things on top, cover it up. The rawness is what excites me. How to play with that and make it look like it's it's man-made, instead of being machine-made. And it has that quality always, natural material. Like if you think about an onyx, the way the light comes out through a stone, a translucent stone. So if you go to see Italian, it's brittle. It's like a biscuit. I still used it in my own house. When I see a client and I understand that they want the polished feel, I tell them don't use Italian. It is going to crack. But I find those cracks beautiful. We are not perfect. We are humans. We have cracks. The beauty is in the cracks. So that's why I like to go with natural all the time.
Okay.
With this, we're done with a very interesting discussion today with one of the most well-known architects in India. I hope you got tons of insights that you can apply onto yourselves. और बस शेयर करते जाओ उन सबको जिन्हें इस फील्ड में इन सब से काफ़ी फायदे होंगे. Follow us on Instagram and subscribe to this channel. And if you have any questions, ask us in the comment section below. See you next time.